Okay.
So hi everybody from Romana and Holger and Unit Yoga from Wiesbaden. We are doing a video today with Brian in beautiful Adrazan, Turkey in the Likya resort where we are having our last day of our great retreat. So Brian, this class in the morning was really hard, but you always say be gentle. So this is kind of weird. On the one side you say be gentle, but then sometimes the classes are not gentle at all. So how does that come together?
That's a great question. I get asked that a lot. It's not that the class wasn't gentle. All the poses were poses Oma can do. I did not pick one pose that is, we say in English, contortion. Just very accessible poses. And then I encourage you to find where you belong inside the pose. Because in this class, we have 28-year-old very flexible girl. And in this class, we have 62-year-old lady, right? So much variety. So I want, in order to make this class challenging for the 28-year-old, we have to have some kind of challenge. But for some people, that challenge is too much. So then I encourage them to back off, to take breaks. So within this challenging routine, everybody can find their place. But if the routine is not challenging, then, you know, where can anybody find a nice challenge?
Okay, wow,
And it has to be a little challenging.
of course.
Otherwise, what's the point? You know, I mean, you can't practice staying calm in a difficult moment if there's no difficult moments. You can't practice getting out of your ego and backing off if you don't have to get out of your ego and back off because everything's so easy, right? You can't practice being accepting of your boundaries and limitations if you don't feel your boundaries and limitations.
Okay.
Now you know.
Now I know, thank you. And then you picked up a German word, which is Scheiße.
Yes.
And you tell the people also in Wiesbaden, you told them, don't bring your Scheiße into yoga and turn yoga into Scheiße. So what does that mean? I mean, what's the background of that? What do you mean by that, Scheiße?
The Scheiße means, and I explain it, because I always take time to make sure that everybody understands. The Scheiße means the qualities that create stress in our life. And that if you are not aware, which is the goal of yoga, to be aware, right, then you will bring these into yoga, right? And I am talking about competitiveness, judgmentalness, criticalness, reactiveness, distractedness. I mean, these are qualities we all have to some degree, and we are trying to start becoming aware of this stuff so we can stop feeding it mental energy and unconscious loyalty, right? Because, you know, if you give something food, it becomes strong, and if you don't, it dies. So when we are trying to kill the enemy, but the enemy's not out there, it's in here. You have to be aware. And I don't say don't bring your Scheiße to yoga. I say people bring their Scheiße to yoga and turn yoga into Scheiße. You have to bring into yoga. I don't say don't bring. I say bring. Just don't feed.
Yeah.
Don't feed. Be aware. Okay, this is the place where you will no longer feed this.
Okay. Another question. You also say very often that it is important that you feel yourself on the mat, and you should feel your body, you should feel your feelings, and you should be aware of that. But sometimes people come to the yoga mat and they just can't feel themselves. Very often in the beginning, when they have just started with yoga, they can't feel really their body. They can't feel what they feel. So what would you recommend these people to feel themselves?
Well, you know, this is a process. You do not get this the very first class. So, number one, you know, you get better and better the more you do. So, you know, the first class, maybe you don't, but this is why we take some time in the beginning, and we try to get people to just stay in tune with the breathing, right? Because the breath is coming through your nose right now. So if you stay with your breathing, you become very present, right? The mind becomes quiet, everything else disappears, and this will make it a little easier for you to tune into how you feel. But if you can stay there, then when you are doing the poses, you feel how these poses are affecting you, and then you can make intelligent decisions like how much to do. This is why we are given feelings. But the first step is getting people to be quiet which is not easy. It's easy to say,
Yes.
yeah. And then also practice. Okay, this will not happen the first class for most of us, but slowly we get better and better. You know, it's a process.
It's a process. Well, final question. You came to Wiesbaden quite often already, and you know Romana, Holger, and the unit studio. But it's your smallest class in Wiesbaden of all of your German tour. Is that right? So how do you feel about Wiesbaden and that studio?
You know, I love the house that the studio is in, the old house. I love the people who come. Romana has created a beautiful yoga community. It doesn't need to be big. I mean, as long as they pay me what I want, what do I care?
Well,
You know?
obviously they do.
And Romana and Holger are very special people.
Yes.
And you know, if I can, I'd like to work with them. You know, I've had other invitations from Wiesbaden,
Okay.
but you know, I like them.
Okay.
You know, it's a good thing we have going. You know, the people come and it's nice. Everything about it is nice.
Thank you so much for taking that time for that interview, and hope to see you next year again in Wiesbaden and of course in Germany and on a retreat like this.
Somewhere, huh? Some beautiful spot. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.